good morning, good afternoon, wherever in the world you are. Take ownership. You know what I mean? Sorry, that's right. Take ownership over everything. Like, take ownership. There's a certain power that comes with that, you know? Before you go out here looking for soulmates and spouses, make sure you own you first. You know, make sure you own yourself. You can't belong to nobody if you don't belong to yourself. Make sure you own you. Got it? Make sure you own every part of you. Got it? Make sure you own this. Make sure you own this. Make sure you own this. You know what I mean? Mind, body, and spirit. Make sure you own that. Make sure you own your words. You know, the words you put on paper, the words you put on the internet, the words you say to somebody else. More importantly, the words you say to yourself. You know, own that. And especially own your mistake. I mean, there's no such thing as mistakes, according to some people, right? But, you know, own that. Own the things that you don't get right. Even if some of them are words, own that. Like, own the fact that you had one thought and said one thing, and you had another thought and said another thing. Like, that's okay, you know, but own that transition, you know, own the previous thought to the progressive thought, you know what I mean? Own that. Like, that's okay. It's even more okay when you own it, when you can own up to that. Like, you know what, I don't think like that anymore. It's okay. Own your stuff. Own everything. My mind is here. I own that. We fight daily, but I know this is my mind, and I know I won't be convinced of something that I'm not willing to do. You know what I mean? Like, nobody can tell me to do something and I just up and do it. Nobody can convince me to do something that I don't already naturally want to do. You know what I'm saying? So, own that. Own who you are. Own what you do. Own what you did. Own what you say. Own what you said, you know, present and past. You have to own everything. It builds character. More important than that, it builds confidence. It's perfectly okay to own something, even if it's something you didn't get right or something that you didn't like that you did or didn't like that you said. It's okay. But the fact that you can own that says a lot more about you than you think. A lot of people don't want to admit their wrongdoings or their mishaps or mistakes, you know, if there are any, you know, their shortcomings. Some people don't have it in them to do it. They're not courageous enough to do that, or they haven't found the courage in them to own it. You know what I mean? That's why ownership is important. We talk about ownership when it comes to material things like houses, cars, businesses, things of that nature, things you can tangibly see. But the intangible things are where you start. Before you can own a house, you need to own this house. You understand what I'm saying? You have to make sure you own. Before you own a business, you need to own the business of you. You know, how you conduct yourself, how you present yourself. You have to own you first. Everything starts internally. But ownership is important. But it's important knowing that there are things that you still have to get better at, things that you still have to correct, things that you probably didn't get right, things that you probably didn't mean to say but said anyway. You have to own every nook and cranny. It's okay. As long as you own it, nobody can take that power and use it against you because you took it back. It's yours. That's where ownership comes in. It's power. But it's power over you. Nobody can or should have the authority to come through and take control of you simply by using something against you because you didn't own up to it yourself. When people can, you know how people get blackmailed, right? They know something about somebody and they use it as a crutch to hold it over them to make them do whatever they want. That's because the person that did it didn't own it. You know what I'm saying? because they didn't use that power of ownership over something that they said or something that they did. Now somebody else has that power and they're using it over against them. Now also notice, especially if you watch TV and movies and stuff like that, the moment people can be like, sure, go ahead, say whatever you want. That's because they're not giving them that power, because they own what they did. They don't give it away. There's power in ownership. When you own what you say or what you did, nobody else can come and take that away from you. That power is yours. It's you taking it back because you own you. You own this. You own this. You own this. Nobody can come and take that away. Ownership builds character. More important than that, it builds confidence. And confidence is all you need when it comes to ownership. Nobody can tell you how to run your business if you own it. Nobody can tell you how to run your household if you own it. Own your stuff. Own every nook and cranny. Before you worried about all these outside factors, soulmates and spouses, businesses, houses and cars and land and all that other stuff. All that's great. But before you do that, start here. Own you first. You. Mind, body, heart, spirit, all of it. Because everything else doesn't come so easy. Much like this doesn't come easy either. But it gets easier when you start with you. Own your stuff. No matter how uncomfortable it is, no matter how difficult it is, it all works out in the end. And you'll feel better for it in the end. Got it? It's Motivation Monday, man.